Is it true that the children are actually wiser than we are? Hey guys, it's John sitting here in my studio drinking my fabulous mug of water. Mark Twain was one of my favorite humorists. And he said, when I was 15, I was so embarrassed about how dumb my father was. When I was 21, I was amazed how much the old man has just learned in 6 years. So, you know, what's interesting is that children come up and they come to this world wide open. They've just come from the other side. They have bigger, broader ideas. They have no history or experience behind them to tell them the world is terrible or the world is hard or it's a struggle. They were born awake. The interesting thing is that now in this age of passing the age of reason and turning into the age of divinity, the adults are the ones who are lagging behind. If you look at the children of our future, there's a song in that. If you look at the children of our future, they're already leaning towards no racism and loving one another and green energy and giving compassion. They're not broken. They're already leaning that way. But the struggles that we seem to be having in the world are not coming from the children. They're coming from the older folks, the people who have all these old life experiences. I was talking to my friend Tim just the other day, talking about how when we were young, a lot of it was like the Wild West, bar fights and horrific things happening. Children are coming to a place of understanding that none of those things are necessary. The spiritually aware child, many of them talk about, creating a better world, a loving world, and doing something that's fun or caring. And they talk about intuition and kindness as if it's part of their second nature. They don't think about racism. They don't think about gender bias. They don't think about homosexuality being wrong or any of that nature. They understand that this is just who people are, and that's how they act. And they ask questions that strip away dogma because they're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense to them because their hearts remember the truth. As a child, oftentimes people will, and I talked about this on one of my other videos, I think on my other channel, where, people ask questions of the church and the church knocks them down because the dogma has to be followed blindly and questioning is a sin. But they remember that this is the truth, that love is the truth, that being in that compassionate space is the truth. Jeshua said, you must become as a child to enter the kingdom of heaven, not because kids are naive, but because they're pure. They don't have the fear-based ideologies that hold older people back from experiencing a more loving world. And now, a quick word from our sponsor. Coffee Time with John. This channel runs off coffee, so get your coffee and tea at johnsjoe.com. The new generation has a strong sense of fairness and justice, and they don't accept blind obedience. They're like, no, I don't believe that, or they're very strong in their opinions about what is coming in, what's coming into their world, or what they truly know to be true in their hearts. They have a high sense of empathy and emotional sensitivity. My son is like a politician. He talks to everybody and he feels for them. He's a highly empathic person. He has a resistance to fear-based control. He doesn't conform to broken systems. He's like, well, that makes no sense. So why are we doing that? They question those things. They are the leaders of tomorrow, but we have to let them lead. We have to let them be the loving, caring persons in creating a world of love and care. And stop trying to make them fit into old molds that no longer fit them, that no longer serve a loving world. Learn from their intuition. Learn from what they just know to be true and it is dropping out of their mouth. When we do that, we come to bridge the gap between the old and the young, and we start to find this new direction forward. Those intuitions, those ideas of no racism and no gender bias, they should guide us into more loving systems, more loving educational systems, spirituality, community. The rebellion isn't disrespectful. It's an evolution of humanity. They literally are releasing the things that are unloving. And you can see that when you talk to the kids, that you can see that they are not carrying forward the biases of the older generation. And what can we learn from them? We can learn how to trust our own intuition. We can start paying attention to, well, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't look right. We can learn how to live more authentically and creatively, and become the person doing something we love, something that we adore, and can create from. We can learn how to stop pretending that we're separate and remember that we're all connected. We can start, they don't think of the world as us or them. They think of the world as us, period. And if we stop trying to fix the children and just allow them to remind us of who we really are, they aren't the future. They're the teachers right now. They're the ones who are showing us how to be. They're the ones who are showing us how to be loving, showing us how to not have gender biases and all of these harmful concepts and ideas that have held humanity back from being a loving community. They're already bypassing it. But let's look at this. Those of us in the older generation understand this. They are the way they are because we taught them that. We showed them what was wrong. We showed them the things that were, and they're coming in knowing the truth, and then our interpretations of knowing the truth have helped them form their ideas. As I often say, the world is like a giant cargo ship at sea. You turn the wheel, and it takes miles for the bow to come around. The children are proof that the bow's already turning around, that we turned the wheel a long time ago. And so the children being the way they are is because we changed our perspective a long time ago. And the reason we're angry right now is because we changed our perspective a long time ago. And right here and right now, the best thing we can do is let go of the wheel and let those kids steer the cargo ship to the bright horizon of their choosing, because they're making it normal to be loving. And that's the most beautiful thing about our future, is the children are literally leading the way and are teaching us how to be more loving. But we have to let go. We have to retire and let the children create a world that is more loving, more caring. And they'll do it. And we'll be sitting back amazed. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day. And I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.